Welcome back to another grief-inspired video. My name is McNulty, and if you are grieving and you want to move forward, you've come to the right place. So the number one question that I get asked when people find Grief Inspired or they join my Facebook group that is also Grief Inspired, No One Should Grieve Alone. I want to invite you to join that as well to communicate with other people who are grieving. But it's probably the number one question that I get asked is exactly how do I move forward? And if you've lost someone close to you, you know the pain of grief and you're probably wondering how you're going to live without them. And you're likely in pain and you have to figure out what is life going to look like now that they're not here. And honestly, because you're in so much pain because of the loss. And I know if you're anything like me, I was really overwhelmed by how consuming the grief was. You know, I felt like I couldn't think of anything else. It completely took over everything about me. And that makes it really challenging because oftentimes we still have to go on living. And so you may be wondering, okay, that's where I am. How do I get out of this and how do I move forward? And so if you're here and you're looking for answers, I just want to say that's a good thing. It means you don't want to stay where you are because there are some people that do. But the fact that you're looking for videos and you're watching this video shows me that you want to learn, you want to move forward, and that's good because it's super easy to become stuck in grief, to be unable to move on. And what happens is if we stay there too long, it becomes harder to move forward. And what happens is you start to become really familiar with only pain and only sadness. And sometimes, you know, there was a time when I was grieving where I was like, I don't even remember what it feels like to laugh or to smile or to be happy. Like I just couldn't remember because I was all consumed by my grief. And it becomes your new normal, right? The pain and the sadness can become your new normal. And in a strange way, it feels comfortable because it's what we know. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about? When you get feeling really comfortable in being sad and being depressed, and it's how you walk around the world. It's how you're showing up, and justified or not, and most likely it is justified. It's different, and so I want you to take a look at that and ask yourself, where are you? Are you just early in your grief and you're wondering like where? You know, am I in an okay place? I know for me, that was a big part of grief. Like I wanted to know I was doing it right. I wanted to know, like, is this normal? Am I going crazy? Because I thought I was going crazy. Or is this, you know, is this the normal process? So if you have questions on that and you're not sure, you know, feel free to reach out to me and send me an email at griefinspired@gmail.com. And we can talk through it. And I can, you know, in a 15-minute phone call, I can get a good sense of where you're at and maybe give you a little personal advice. And I'm more than happy to do that for you. So, okay. But as time moves on, and here's the thing, as time moves on, there's a choice that you have to make. There's a choice to either stay stuck in your grief and choose to be a victim to it, or choose to do something different. And if you choose to want something different, you may not know how to get there, but you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Maybe it's because you're holding on to anger because you hold them responsible for the death of your loved one. Maybe it's an overwhelming feeling of guilt that you have that's tearing you up inside and you just don't know how to get past it. Or maybe it's the depression that you've been in for what you know is a really long time and you're wondering. And if you're starting to wonder, have I been in this place too long? Maybe you have. but maybe not, because sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. So this does take time. It's not like you can flip a switch and just miraculously be happy again. That's not what we're talking about here. But if it's a depression that's really like keeping you stuck, keeping you inside your home, away from other people for long extended periods of time, more than a week or two, something that's keeping you on the couch, maybe in your pajamas, preventing you from showering, then you might be stuck. Because we don't want to hide from the rest of the world. And I was reminded when I was writing this about Lisa Nichols, who is a motivational speaker that I followed. She has some really good insights into a lot of different things. And so I enjoy listening to her. And I always feel better whenever I listen to anything that she does. But one of the things that she says about these heavy emotions, whether it's depression or anger or guilt or shame, that it's an okay place to be, is what she says, but it's not an okay place to stay. Meaning, you know, she jokes and she talks about, look, you don't want to set up real estate here. You don't want to build a house on your shame and your anger and your guilt and your depression. That's not where you want to live. You don't want to set up camp because it's not healthy. So it's an okay place to be, but don't stay there for too long. And, you know, these are the times when you're feeling like this. This is that life's challenges. Grief is one of life's biggest challenges, in my opinion. There hasn't been a lot more that's been more difficult. Divorce was hard. That was another one, right? And we've all got our things. But losing someone really close can be all consuming, like I said, and it can definitely be one of life's greatest challenges. So if it's yours, if this is the biggest thing that you've come across in your life, let me know that by putting a comment down below. And the thing about the life's challenges is it makes us move. The pain makes us move because we don't want to be there. Challenges and the struggle that challenges create make us want something different. And so the question becomes, you know, how do you move forward in your grief? And step one of how you move forward in your grief is to ask yourself this question: do you want to move forward? Are you sure that you don't want to stay where you are? Because again, like I said, we can be a victim, and there's a certain time where it's okay to be the victim and say, like, I'm not ready to move forward. I just want to stay where I am. So the question is, do you want to move forward? And are you sure that you don't want to stay where you are? And then do you want to learn? Do you want to learn how to move forward in your grief? So if your answer is yes to all of those things, then what I want to invite you to do is hang with me and check out the next video that's part 2 of how to move forward in grief.